everybody. Welcome to Show Some Huss. Nuggets Nation, we have a pulse. We are alive. There is life in the Denver Nuggets on Friday night. They put an absolute beating on the Minnesota Timberwolves, which I guess we could just we'll call it even for one beating to another. But Leo, we got to watch that game together. It's fantastic. What's your first thoughts on that?
Man, we came out swinging. Mike said it in the presser afterwards. We were the aggressor tonight. We became the aggressor, and that was the difference. It's amazing, man. You show a little bit of Huss, and things go your way. So, MPJ shot the ball well. Jamal shot the ball well. We didn't throw anything out on the court. We played a little bit of defense, not great defense, but a little bit. But man, it was great to come with a whipping. It was great.
Yeah, and I I can't remember exactly when it was, but there was a moment, and I think we were maybe heavily into the second quarter, maybe even after halftime. That was our first turnover.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we got through the first quarter and a good amount of the second, if not all the second, without a turnover. I mean, we showed a little bit more attention to detail when it comes to taking care of the ball. Um, a certain someone showed up for maybe the first time in the playoffs, aside from a last second buzzer beater.
right,
Um,
right.
it it was exactly what we needed. I mean, it's obviously we wish we had played like that the first two games. However, you can't undo the past. But we're right back in this. I
Yes.
I obviously this next game is a kind of tell-all type thing for the whole series, but I feel like we're at the point where almost every game is kind of a do or die situation. Um, so yeah, I mean, I want to get your initial thoughts on talk about Joker and then let's talk about Murray, but you can talk about Joker first because the guy had another soundboard triple double with 24, 14, and 9.
Which
I
is
mean,
about his average for the playoffs. Um, so I'm gonna say he played average. No, it was great, man. That soundboard triple double, it's always amazing. It's incredible. Donnie, I caught myself saying in the first quarter, probably, when he came back in the second, in and out, in and out, in and out. Man, he just had so many that just wouldn't drop. But he stayed with it, and he actually got to shoot some free throws. That was kind of cool. So it was great, man. I would still like him to be more aggressive. But when you win by, as April puts it, Jamal's number, big old 27 whipping, it's, does he need to be more aggressive? Not when you win like that. So it was great to see everyone else step up. He does what he does best, and he puts his teammates in great positions for good shots. And they knocked him down. So props to the whole squad.
mhm. Yeah, and then I mean, big game back, uh, Jamal. I mean, I maybe those 3 days, 4 days, whatever it was off was maybe the perfect thing we needed. I don't know, but the guy ended up with 24 as well, 4 rebounds and 5 assists, 2 of 5 from three, 11 of 21 from the field.
And I'm going to be honest, man. We need to be able to expect that from him. That
Yeah.
needs to be a regular. That
Mhm.
shouldn't be a, oh my gosh, great
Mhm.
game. That should be a, this is what we expect from you. And it is great. It's amazing, man. It's number two numbers. We
Mhm.
just need those number two numbers every game, every single game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you hit it on the head right there with joking about how that was an average game for Joker, right? We expect that from Joker.
We do.
And I don't say this in like any way disrespecting. In fact, I think this is the most respectful thing and amazing thing you can say about a basketball player is you expect those type of games.
Mhm.
Like, we don't expect that from Peyton Watson. We know Peyton Watson can't put those up, right?
No.
We know Jamal can't.
Yeah.
And so when we know you have the ability and you've shown, I mean, he's shown it in the past, then yeah, we're going to have the expectation for it. And this team is kind of built around needing that, right?
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah.
not, we can't just rely on Joker having his typical night. Like he kind of just had a typical night. It was a big night. But
It
if
was
he did,
very.
yeah, like if he doesn't have his typical night, then we also suffer. Guys got to do
Mhm.
what we know they're capable of doing. It was just, you're right. It's funny because we're acting like, oh my gosh, what a game.
And it was, man. It was a great collective effort. You give up, what did we give up? 90 some points? I don't know.
90, flat 90.
Yeah. So that's a big turnaround. I mean, they've only been scoring 106, but defensively, that's it's a big swing for us.
Mhm.
And also, man, like I feel like we would have thought Joker had a better game had some of those in and outers fell because they usually do. They were great looks. It was, the Wolves played great defense, but it wasn't great defense that stopped us from going in. It was just a little bit of off touch, which is a surprise for him. Um, and I do think Jamal moving forward can produce that. I don't
Mhm.
feel like we're asking too much from him. Um, but it's and like you said, we can't expect that from Peyton Watson, but everyone else played great last night.
Mhm.
Um, and not to say that Peyton didn't, it's just I would like to see more from our bench. I really would. Even more than I already see. But when you only play 30 minutes collectively, it's hard to expect a lot.
Yeah, and that's kind of my next question is, I mean, you and I immediately were talking about how different the rotation was.
Hmm.
I think Justin Holiday was the first one in.
Hmm.
Reggie Jackson didn't see the floor until what, 4 minutes left in the second quarter. And I don't think that's a knock necessarily on Reggie Jackson. I think it's just a how can we change this up to where we are able to, number one, minimize the damage when we can't have our best five out there, and then also potentially build a lead.
Hmm.
I mean, it's got to the point where, I look at some games through the season and I'm like, okay, yeah, we'd get like a 20 point, 25-point lead with our five. And then we take our boys out and it would be enough of a cushion to where even if, you know, that non-Nikola time was a -10,
Hmm.
we still had a good
We,
cushion,
we
and then we burned enough time, we can throw them back in there and then right back to business, right?
hmm. Hmm.
And I mean, I'm sure it threw off Finch. I'm sure it did a little bit. So now that they have tape on that type of rotation, what are we going to do for game four?
Hmm.
Um, but the rotation was important. I think that was a big deal when it came to winning this game. But just it was the little things, man. Urgency. It was rebounding. It was guys diving for balls. It was hitting shots that you need to hit.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it was things that we just haven't done in this series yet. That was, I mean, even the first game, I guess you could say, yeah, it was, I mean, it was a close game for most of it, but there were times in that game, dude, if I just thought we had done the little things a little bit better, we could have run away with it. I mean, we had the
Exactly
lead.
right.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
it's just it was good to see that is still in our bag.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
if we don't have those things, we don't make it to the playoffs, and we have somehow made it to game 8 of the playoffs. And we've only played with that real sense of urgency. It feels like once, maybe twice.
mhm.
So you kept talking about it, Donnie, and you're exactly right, man. You got to have that. You have to want to come out and play. And I think Anthony Edwards even said that about himself, is that he didn't do that in this game last night.
Mhm.
Cool to see him take to take accountability for that one. I don't know if it's all on him, but um, he's got to perform for his team, but he didn't. So woohoo for us.
Yeah, and I mean, he was their highest scorer at 19, and he played the most minutes. I I
Hmm.
I I don't know. I mean, I thought he shot somewhat well, like not what we've seen the first two games.
Yeah, that's true.
I really hope that's not like gonna be his normal thing, shooting like he did in the first two games. I hope
Yeah.
that, he does have games like this, hopefully multiple in a row.
Yep.
And
3 more would be great.
yeah, and maybe it comes down to a little bit of urgency and understanding, you know, I think there were a few moments last night we saw him come off like stagger screens, KCP was getting lost. And I mean, that's tough to do. Like, I don't even put that really on KCP. Like, he can only do so much in those situations. Um, but I thought we did enough, right? You're never going to completely contain Anthony Edwards. The guy
No.
is becoming, I don't know. I,
He's becoming an MVP candidate.
he's-
That's what he's turning into. And Donnie, something I wanted to bring up and talk to you about is, and this is not a complaint, and this is not I, and this is not a knock on anyone or anything. Do you feel like the difference in officiating made a
Ooh.
difference with us? Because you and I were saying multiple times, game two, we might as well put on the pads and throwing the football around. Game three, we were like, this is, and of course we're winning. So you and I are saying this is how a game should be officiated. But also, do we get those calls in this game because we're more aggressive? So maybe was it not a difference in officiating as much as urgency, or maybe a little bit of both? I felt like we were getting calls that we just did not get in game one and two. And by we, I mean the game itself.
Mhm.
There was a lot more, a lot less blacktop play, playground play, and more you reach, you're going to be called on it. I don't know. What do you think?
You know, I think we did a better job of understanding and adjusting quickly to seeing how the refs were going to call the game. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure coaches and players might deny the fact that they maybe adjust their game a little bit depending on how it's being called.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bold-faced lie. Um, I I think that the Wolves in game two, I mean, it turned into a little bit of a rugby scrap,
Mm-hmm.
and the Wolves took advantage of it. We didn't. We didn't fight back, and we weren't aggressive. So yes, I agree with you. I think we were aggressive in our moments in this game. And yeah, call like you and I complained about calls. There were calls we probably saw that were like, um, we shouldn't have got that call.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there was moments, and I really don't think as much as in every single playoff game, no matter where you are, the home fans are always going to have a moment where they cheer refs, you suck, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what you think, I don't think that the refs have decided any of these games yet.
Oh
Um,
no, no, not at all.
yeah. So
No.
like in that sense, I'm not concerned about that, but I did like to I felt like we adjusted. I felt like we kind of you dip your toes in the water. Is it hot? Is it cold?
Yeah.
And maybe go from there. You don't have to make a giant adjustment, but there's moments like let's say you have three fouls and it's been a ticky-tack call game all day. Joker, we can't lose you. Maybe and it's a close game still. Maybe don't go up for that challenge. I know that's not popular to say, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you got to play the long game sometimes. And in game two, there was moments I wish we had challenged everything.
Right.
like,
Right.
like, dude, go. Why don't you guys go for like a game record of blocks? Come on, like go up, get your hands in there. They're allowing it, and we just didn't. We complained, and so yeah, I mean that's what I think. Do you have like any specific thoughts on that? Because I didn't mind last night, and frankly, I didn't even mind Tuesday. They were very different, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that officiating for us, I don't know. I think, yeah, man, when you play more aggressive, you get more calls. That's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. And when you show that urgency, you get more calls. So maybe I think that was the difference. Um, uh, and also we did shoot better. We just shot the ball better. You can't. Um, and again, I was just wondering because it felt like, yeah, you can't. Refereeing, officiating does not change a game, but it does seem to, I think, change it for us in the sense that when Nikola gets to the free throw line early and often, that helps us out. However, he's not fishing for free throws like some of the other MVP candidates in this league. Um, Before we move on, something I want to bring up, Donnie.
Yep.
We were talking about this last night. I want to hear what others have to think. Coaches' challenges. Uh, Everybody, we have a new rule that we would like to
We solved it.
install.
We
We did. We
solved the
solved it.
yeah.
Because here's the thing: you win a challenge, you shouldn't lose a challenge. You should get to keep that and bank it for later.
Hmm.
Coach's challenges, Donnie, you get two a game. Use them anytime you want. If you don't use them, you get to roll them over to the next game. We got so deep into this, Donnie, that we were talking, this could end up like a Quidditch match where games go on for a couple days, just because you have a million challenges going on. But I want to know what everyone else has to think. Donnie, you still for
Uh,
that
la-
change?
last night I that might have been the funniest thing we've talked about in a long
Oh
time.
my, oh my
Um,
goodness.
like we were talking, game 4 of the 2024 playoffs are still going on in 2055. Every single play has been challenged. Uh, Jimmy Butler started this series as the age of 34. He is now 56,
He's had two kids during this series.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, like all jokes aside though, I agree with you, man. If you keep winning a challenge, I think you should be able to lose one
Hmm.
and then you get another one, you get a last
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
And if you win that, keep it.
And I want to restructure the way I say this because I was saying this so negative way and in such a negative way. If you win a challenge, you shouldn't be penalized because of wrong refereeing. Not poor refereeing, but wrong refereeing.
Mhm.
So with that, I don't know. I think you get to keep it
Yeah, it just makes
if you're
sense to
right.
me. Like,
Yeah.
and I think you should also keep your timeout personally. I understand people might say that might drag some games on. And maybe you make that type of rule for playoffs only,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like in the NHL, what they do for overtime in regular season, it's 3-on-3, 5 minutes flat, golden goal. If no one scores in that 5 minutes, they go straight to penalties. It's done. Because I mean, imagine, and then in the playoffs, they just play a whole new period, 5-on-5, just like a regular game. But if you did that every single time they went to overtime in 82 game season, I mean, you're gonna have people going to double, triple overtime, basically
Yep.
playing like maybe 100 extra game or 18 extra games up to 100 total in a regular season. So like I understand, like going back to the challenge thing, it might delay the game a little bit, but I think of the playoffs, that would be a great thing. I think that would be because
Maybe put a cap on it. You can roll your challenges over, but you can't use more than five a game.
yeah, like hit a max, right? Like
Mhm. Per
once you
game.
rolled over like 5 or something.
Hmm. Like April was saying, treat this like T-Mobile minutes back in 2009.
Right? Yeah. How many texts you got left?
Oh my gosh, right? Oh, dude, that brings me back. Oh, so many bad conversations with the parents about going over on text messaging. Jeez.
We were girl crazy, man. All right. Peyton Watson
Yes.
barely played last night. Um,
We don't need him right now.
and that was my question. Do we need to, is that a concern? I'm not
No.
concerned. It was, and I don't, it didn't look like on his face. Like he was very excited on the bench when guys were doing great. We were, kicking butt. At least that's what I saw.
That's too bad.
Um, not, no, he was looking excited, not bad.
He was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
Um,
I'm not concerned. I mean, that's what we want, right?
I
Like
think
we want, like
I
it's all
think,
about the
and
team.
yeah, he wants to win. I hope I mean, we have the
Yeah.
best player in the world, and we have a point guard that can be the best player in the world on any given night. So,
Hmm.
we have the best shooter in the league. We have so many offensive advantages that it would be weird to not be excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like
Um,
my question was
whether
is
you're
like
playing or not, like I just, dude,
I just want to win.
yeah, and he's what is he 3 years old in this league?
Two. This is his second year.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Is he even 21 yet? I don't even think he can legally drink.
I don't even know if he can have beer. So I think it's not a huge concern for me.
Yeah, I'm not either.
My biggest concern is $40 million is playing 2 minutes of garbage time at the end of the that just drives me insane. And not about him as an individual, but whoever made that decision is
Yeah. It's not his
using.
fault. They threw a contract in his
No,
face. I'd
good
take it
for
too.
him. Good for
Yeah.
him. Yeah, dude, take that money and go. Because
Yeah.
that's what you're basically doing to us. But I no, I and you know what? I hope that next year I'm like, man, I'm a big idiot. He was worth every penny. He is developed. He is da da da. I will eat my words all day, Donnie. I don't care. But right now, that is not a good sign.
Hmm.
It was a bad sign.
Yep.
Bad
Yep.
sign.
Yeah, I feel that. And I mean, you and I, we don't shy away. When we admit when we're wrong. We were wrong about Reggie Jackson.
Oh, way wrong. Way wrong. Oh, he's
So
not gonna play at all.
yeah, the guy was probably the highest points guy off the or highest points guy and minutes guy off the bench for the majority of the season. So
He's the
uh,
reason we finished top 5 in
yeah.
standings. So,
All right. One last question. Do you have any more questions?
dude, that's all I had. I just wanted to know about what you thought about officiating and about the coaches challenge fiasco we were discussing last night.
All right. This is a very generic game 4. What do we got to do? How do we bring this home even?
Man, this is super generic because every team does this now, but we have to run 30 ball screens with Jamal and Nikola
Mhm.
before half. I we have to go bread and butter. Go with your bread and butter.
Mhm.
And I think, did we really commit to that last game? No, and we still won by 27. That's true, but you're telling me Finchie's not going to figure out how to stop whatever happened last night? Go to what works. You cannot stop a ball screen. You cannot, especially with what we have.
Yeah. And before last game or before last night, we had talked on the last pod and you said 20 or more shots, right?
Mhm.
I want that. I want Joker on the first possession catching the paint, and if they don't double, go at whoever you is on you.
Yep.
I don't even care if it gets blocked. I don't care
Give
if he
Gobert a
misses
quick
it,
foul. Yeah,
right?
I don't either.
Go
No.
go at him.
Hmm.
Send a message. And with his
Hmm.
touch, it's more than likely going to go in. So I
And then
want
get
to
fouled.
see that. Yeah, like I want to see that set early.
Yeah, man, 100%. Okay, I like that. I agree. I agree. Find
Yeah.
a way to get them isolated, and if they double, man, that's a problem with our team. Is you double anybody, we have their state's best shooter from high school.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have Aaron Gordon's going to knock down a three. KCP, it's probably going to go.
Hmm.
Michael Porter Jr., you better not give him 6 inches to breathe
Hmm.
because he will bury you.
Hmm.
And, so I feel like if you help over on that ball screen with Jamal and Nikola,
Hmm.
you're cooked. You're
Yep.
cooked.
And they're also like, if you're trying to help, you're also creating a rotation that's going to create some type of a mismatch somewhere.
Hmm.
And so I agree with
Hmm.
you. Ball screens, find Joker when they don't want to double,
Yeah.
force them to double because that is how he operates. When they, I don't know, don't even get me started. I just,
Eh, I also want to see Jamal go to the basket early.
mhm.
Not don't settle for fadeaway Jays. I know he hits them sometimes, but man, he's so good when he starts off the game with attacking.
Yeah, yeah,
Shoot, our whole team is. I don't know.
yeah. Um, just show up with that urgency, put in the effort.
Mhm.
Even if we lose this game, I want to make sure that it wasn't because I don't want to be sitting here talking about effort. I don't want to be talking about throwing things on the court.
Right? Oh my gosh, right? I want to
Uh,
talk about like rotations or,
Strategy,
hmm
tactics. Give me
hmm
that. All right.
yeah, give
If
me
we,
something to blame Mike for.
yes, right, right. All
Because if
right.
it's less than 5, it's coaching.
Hey, I could not agree more. Um, let me think here. We got game tomorrow. Um, and you
Big game.
guys confirmed game 5. You're going to that. Pretty stoked.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. I was
but
like, we
yeah,
should sell it. No, we're going.
at this point, let's bring it home, guys. Let's bring it home even.
Bring it home.
Let's just restart the series. Best out of 3 or 4,
Hmm.
5,
Hmm.
5.
Best of 5. Best of 5. Yeah.
Math. Um, yeah. Leo, any last comments? Any last words of advice for our Nuggets Nation?
No, we are truly the best team in basketball when we show some hus. We
Mhm.
truly are. That's all
Absolutely
I
agree.
got, man. That's all
Yep.
I got. So everyone, please do not forget to show some hus.
Go Nuggets.